There is a girl we all know in the UK. You can find her in them YouTube chats every day. Has all these online partners, at least a dozen or more. You think she's some kind of YouTube virtual whore, projecting her perfect image in dimly lit pics, looking good from some angles. From others it looks like she's got a dick. She's 5,000 miles away from the dude she claims to possess, mistaking emails and texts for true romance. But it's very real to her, I guess. So very real to her, I guess. Living out her dreams of American love online. 'Cause in real life you'd see she is a hot mess, trying to sell herself as quite the exotic catch. You'll be better off taking your chances with a Tinder match than to get caught up trying to import some psycho British gash. There's a girl we all know as a locale, chasing online love all day, disconnected from the here and now, looking for true love in a distant land, carefully baiting her thirst traps for the perfect man. She's 5,000 miles away from the place she wants to be, hiding all her manly features to appear girly, desperately seeking attention from dudes in the States, posting glamour shots of every angle but her face. So very real to her, I guess, keeping all her relationships in the virtual world. 'Cause in real life you'd not be able to ignore her hot mess, trying to sell herself as quite the exotic catch, tucking and taping that junk while trying to hide that mustache.
What's up, Copper Top? What's going
What's
on,
up?
buddy? Oh man. For shout out to Rusty Truck for lack of a better intro. I just I went with it. I wasn't meaning nothing by it. Let me see here. Let me add this to the stage here. So if you're like most of us, you don't have a lot of time to go digging, right, for information and shit. And when you run across good information, you need to share it. So Copper Top, for one, I want to tell you thank you for sharing this video with me this morning. When I seen it, it kind of resonated with me. I said, "Oh shit, that's what's going on," and I'm sure it did the same for you.
Yeah, it did the same for me because I couldn't figure out. I was trying to figure out why is all these things happening the way they're happening, and this woman definitely puts it together.
Yeah, she said we'll play it, and she kind of explains why she knows. Let me welcome a few people in. Hey, Mama, how you doing, sweetheart? What's up, 815? Trolling for Jesus. McGriven, what's happening? What's happening? What's up, Sean? Allie? Smart mouth. Be careful out there driving, bro. Hey, Deb, how you doing? I'm glad you stopped in. Cosmic Crazy, Info Warriors, if you're still here, and Diamond. Hey, Diamond's another one that sends me good clips, man, about information stuff, and I really appreciate that when people do that, because listen, now I don't always believe what people send me, and you got to know what you're filtering through when you're looking at stuff. But to me, man, these especially a lot of these young kids are out here bashing Trump and they don't understand what he's doing. And this lady kind of lays the framework of what the man's doing, and it's real eye opening. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into the video.
There was a time about 100 years ago when the United States military knew exactly who the real enemy was. And it wasn't Russia and it wasn't China. It was Britain. In the 1920s, the U.S. military developed something called War Plan Red, a detailed contingency plan for war with the British Empire, with Canada as Britain's proxy. And right now, Donald Trump is dusting off a modern version of that same plan. Now, if you're watching the mainstream media, they're telling you Trump is recklessly threatening our alliances with his demands about Greenland. And Britain's premier foreign policy outlet, Chatham House, is now saying this about the United States. European leaders will remain concerned about Europe's ability to defend itself with a more unpredictable and even hostile U.S. And Chatham House also reported that in December, Denmark's military intelligence service classified the United States as a security risk for the first time. But here's what they're not telling you. Trump isn't threatening our alliances. He's ending 80 years of British control over American foreign policy.
Hey, see, so Copper Top, I did not know that, right? So from what I read today, after I watched this, I went and looked up some stuff. And during World War II and all, they signed a treaty to use one another's information on back and forth. And I was
Right.
like, oh, okay, that's what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
From
Britain. We've been paying since World War II to Britain for them to live, a rich life.
She gets into it. She gets into it.
And he's doing it by reviving the strategic clarity that our military once had when they created War Plan Red.
Sure.
I'm Susan Kokinda, and for 50 years, I've tracked the British Empire's tactics and institutions.
Here's a simple Christian-centered online business that you
tell you what you're watching right now is Endgame. So if this is your kind of fight,
Diamond, for sure.
Please hit the like, share, and subscribe button to stay in touch and so we can spread our
Info Warriors. He's ending a lot of it. And that's what I was just saying when we first started the program is a lot of these kids are on this fucking trip about how bad Trump is, and they don't even realize what the man's actually trying to do for them, and not so much for them, but their kids. And I know y'all have heard me ask this question before. What happened in society where we've taken from just dad working to mom and dad, or just mom working and dad being home with the kids, or vice versa? Why is it taking both parents to work? There's no way in this world that a hardworking man cannot afford, or a hardworking woman, either one, could not afford a house on a single income. There's no reason for it, especially when you're not doing anything wrong. And in today's society, people cannot fucking live, and it is out of control. And if it keeps going the way it's going, it's going to end badly. People give up. And that's where a lot of our drug problems have come from. People have given up. They're to the breaking point.
Our outreach. So today I'm going to show you 3 things. Why NATO leaders are now discussing protecting Greenland from the United States. I'm going to talk about the forgotten War Plan Red, when America's military planned for war against Britain. And third, how Trump is taking...
Hey, Deb, so he just passed the law, or is in the process. I want to say that he signed it through an executive order, and it's one of the reasons why they're trying to stop him from being able to sign executive orders. Is no big businesses or corporations can buy single family dwellings anymore, because what they were doing is they were going in and then taking and outbidding single families So they would have to rent a place instead of being able to buy a place. He's putting a stop to that.
On the monopolies at home, that these are the same British financial interests that shaped the post-war world, and they also run the cartels strangling your housing and your health care. Now, if you're watching the
Hey, do you remember when I was playing the video with Granny the other night and she said, could there be another reason why Trump was walking in front of the Queen? That's why.
mainstream media, they're
And
telling you
my dumbass said because they're over there messing with kids, which they were,
wants
but
Greenland for its minerals or its military bases, or
Blame it.
it's about Russia and China. Well, there are
sir,
Yeah, he's playing with them. He's playing
Cop-
mind games with them. Let them know that, hey, there's a new sheriff in town.
yeah,
but there's much, much more. Look at what the foreign policy establishment is actually panicking about. The Atlantic Council, NATO's outpost here in the United States, just published a piece titled, "Trump's Quest for Greenland Could Be NATO's Darkest Hour." And Bloomberg reported that the United Kingdom and Germany are now discussing deploying NATO forces to Greenland to protect it from the United States. Let that sink in. NATO allies are discussing how to protect a NATO member from the United States, the supposed leader of NATO. Here's what Chatham House is really worried about. The cornerstone of NATO policy, Article 5, which triggers U.S. military support for NATO members. Here's what they say. The U.S., NATO's most powerful country by far, threatening to attack a NATO member state further damages Article 5's credibility. You bet it does. But it gets even more interesting. They continue, and they say, traditional alliance systems are reshaping daily, and European states might find they need support from other South American or other global South states in the future. And then the folks at Chatham House are very worried about the reports of potential U.S. cooperation deal on Arctic energy projects. And they got even more nervous in November with the 28-point peace plan, which includes joint Russian-U.S. plans for rare earth mineral extraction in the Arctic. Did you catch that? Europe may have to realign with the global South while the U.S. is working on Arctic economic deals with Russia. This is the British establishment admitting that Trump has broken their carefully crafted post-World War II Atlantic system. And here's the kicker about Greenland itself. The idea that Greenland belongs to Denmark is purely an artifact of imperial policy. Greenland didn't even get self-government until 2009. And it still has no
2009.
power over its own foreign policy, currency, or defense.
So in other words, what she's saying is they don't have the rights to their own minerals. So the British colonials are going in there and giving them just enough money to survive, but not get ahead and pretty much pillaging the stuff that they got. And, you know, we get reports that Greenland don't want nothing to do with Trump, and that is not the case.
Denmark controls all of that. And according to the Danish media, those tensions recently broke out between Greenlandic and Danish parliamentarians, with one Greenlander accusing Denmark of neo-colonial methods.
Imagine being able to build.
Well, we're going to see about it. We're going to see about it. I don't see why the man be lying.
And opposition leaders in Greenland are now saying they want to negotiate directly with the United States, not through Copenhagen.
Wow. Who would have
So
thought?
when Trump talks about Greenland, he's really talking about dismantling one of the last vestiges of European colonial control in the Western Hemisphere. And NATO, the military arm of that old imperial system, knows that if Greenland goes, the whole structure starts to crumble. Now, if you're finding this history eye-opening, if you're realizing there's a whole framework for understanding the British Empire's operations that you never heard before,
Yeah, right.
you should go to the
And it should
Promethean
be,
Action
bro.
website and subscribe to our free newsletter. But let's dig deeper into why Greenland matters strategically. Everyone keeps saying it's about Russia and China. And yes, there are Russian and Chinese elements to this. But what if they aren't your main enemy? What if the real concern is Britain and Canada? Now pull out a map and look at the world from the North Pole down. Greenland sits right between Britain and North America. And of course, the northern part of North America is Canada. What's the significance of that? Think about this geography when we look at War Plan Red, because War Plan Red was a contingency plan for war with Britain, and Canada was the key proxy. This plan was approved and updated under the tenure of Navy Secretary Charles Francis Adams III. Now, names do matter in history. Charles Francis Adams III was not just a bureaucrat.
When she put all this together right here, Copper Top, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I know. It was eye opening for me too. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah. And you know what? You can't dispute what she's saying. She's giving you evidence of why she believes what she believes and saying
Right.
what she's saying.
Yeah.
And damn, let me see here. Let me copy this lady's link. I'm gonna put this lady's channel in the chat. If anybody else wants to watch or find her, here's her channel. I suggest you do. Now, what you do with this information is totally up to you. But to me, it made sense finally, because you ask these questions of why, and nobody really knows. All they can do is insult you when you ask them. And that ain't doing anybody no good. Hey there, didn't you?
He was the great-grandson of President John Quincy Adams, and he was the grandson of Charles Francis Adams Sr. Why is that significant? Because Charles Francis Adams Sr. was Abraham Lincoln's minister to Britain during the Civil War. He was the man on the ground in London, and he was the key figure who prevented the empire from diplomatically recognizing the Confederacy. This family understood the game. The grandfather spent the 1860s preventing the British from destroying the Union diplomatically. The grandson spent the 1920s preparing contingencies for a British attack on the US. They understood that the Republic and the Empire are incompatible forms of government. And for the last 80 years, we've forgotten that lesson. But Donald Trump is simply dusting off a modern version of War Plan Red, a war for political and economic sovereignty from empires and monarchies. Now, if you're finding this history eye-opening, if you're realizing there's a whole framework for understanding the British Empire's operations that you never heard before, you should go to the Promethean Action website and subscribe to our free newsletter. Because when you look at the fight from the standpoint of Republic versus Empire, everything President Trump is doing makes perfect sense. So use the link to subscribe. Because while President Trump dismantles the empire's rules-based order, he hasn't forgotten the domestic one. The same British financial interests that shaped the post-war strategic landscape run the monopolies right here in our own backyard. The empire doesn't just operate through monarchies and NATO. It operates through monopolistic cartels right here at home, protecting the financial interests that have strip mined the American middle class.
And when she says strip mine, she means that's why both parents are out working right now.
Yeah,
instead of living a life that they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're taxing us to death. They're taxing the middle class out of existence.
Well, yeah, they're buying up all the houses and creating monopolies, and I can't remember exactly what they're called, but they got these big companies that's all they do is they buy property. They have leasing agents and stuff, and they go around and they do all the rent and foreclosures and fucking kicking out and all that.
Yeah, BlackRock was wanting to buy up. That's where, which on the 19th, he's going to Davos to speak to that WEF, and they're the ones that was buying up all these homes. That's where they were saying
well, they're setting
happy,
right?
All the homes.
Yeah, and see, they set the prices for rent and everything else, man, and it's so outpriced that you can't save no money to be able to go buy a home. And let me tell you, eating up all the food, I like pig's feet. What's up, smart mouth?
And this week,
Yeah, investment properties. But there's something else that they got a name for it, like this fancy fucking name.
Donald Trump targeted the two biggest burdens crushing the American people and especially young families: housing and health care.
Hey, and I don't know if y'all caught this or not, but he just told the Republicans, instead of giving the money to the insurance companies, give it back to the people. Let them buy their own health care, which they should. People should be able to choose what doctors they go to. Like me, I'm stuck with Blue Cross Blue Shield, right? There's certain places I can go and there's certain places I can't. And that's bullshit. I should be able to go to any doctor I want to.
Blue Cross Blue Shield used to be the best too,
Yeah,
because
they're not anymore, Bob.
non-profit to profit, and it turned to shit.
Bro, I had to have a scope done, and it cost me $7,500 to get a camera run down my throat and my
That's crazy.
rectum. Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
Look,
Hey, and the lady, when she told me that, she was looking at the paper, and I was like, yeah, that's Blue Cross Blue Shield for you.
look at Trump's Truth Social post. He
Unbelievable.
announced he is immediately taking steps to ban large institutional investors from buying single-family homes. For the last decade, these giant institutional investors, the Blackstones, the Vanguards, the State Streets, they've been gobbling up single-family housing stock. They swoop in, outbid young couples and other Americans, and turn what should be a family's primary asset into a permanent rental stream for a hedge fund. This was fulfilling the WEF's playbook of turning us into a nation of renters, owning nothing, and supposedly being happy. But by forcing these institutions to divest, the administration wants to flood the market with supply and bring
Yeah,
prices
right,
back down to
InfoWars.
reality. And the markets aren't too happy with Trump's announcement. Barron's reported that real estate funds slipped after Trump's announcement this week. But Trump didn't stop there. Federal Housing Finance Director Bill Pulte called this investor ban just the first punch. He said the second punch was the direction to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to purchase up to $200 billion in mortgage-backed securities to begin to drive down mortgage rates.
Thank
The effect of both of these actions was to immediately begin to bring some more mortgage rates down below 6%. Of course, the other huge burden is the cost of health care. We discussed that in the Wednesday briefing when Trump challenged Republicans in Congress to join him in the simple revolutionary concept of no money to the insurance companies, give it directly to the American people. But actually, the biggest cartel of all isn't housing, and it isn't even healthcare. It's the one Eisenhower warned us about, the military-industrial complex. And in a series of
Listen to what she says right here, and I want y'all to pay attention real close to what she says.
blistering posts, President Trump demanded that major defense contractors end their stock buybacks and cap their salaries. Think about this. These companies took taxpayer money meant for defense and used it to pump up their own stock prices instead of building ships or fixing planes. He's demanding that they stop
robbed
being
us.
financial institutions and
They-
start being
They straight up robbed us of our tax money. Stuff that was supposed to be going for defense, like she said, ships and warplanes and stuff like that. Instead of doing it, they pumped up their stocks. They made their companies richer. So they just robbed the fuck out of us without a gun.
Right.
industrial ones. And the president has said that this economic message is the one he's going to deliver at Davos in a week and a half. Break the financial parasites so the real economy and real families can grow. So let's connect the dots. Trump's moves on Greenland aren't about territorial expansion. They're about ending NATO as an instrument of imperial control and securing the Western Hemisphere against countries which still operate under monarchies, like Britain, Denmark, and Canada. The War Plan Red framework shows us that the American military leadership once understood who the real enemy was, and Trump is reviving that clarity. And domestically, from Wall Street's housing grab to the Pentagon's stock buybacks, Trump is dismantling the cartels that have turned American citizens into serfs in their own country. But if you understand the game, And the real game goes back centuries. You can see exactly what Trump is doing and why it terrifies them. And when you understand the game, you can fight it effectively. That's what we do at Promethean Action. So head on over to our website and join the fight. Paying memberships and contributions give us the resources to do more and reach out even further. Because we have to build this fight now in 2026. There's no better way to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our independence than by finishing off the British Empire once and for all. So this has been your Monday Brief. Thanks for watching.
Please take a moment and
That lady is super, super sharp, man. And you
Yeah.
know, and that explains why it's taking a dual income to raise a family, because everybody's grifting off of us. And they have been grifting off of us. In the 80s, life wasn't this hard, man. And we didn't have all the luxuries that we have now. So
Right.
as time goes on, life should get easier, and it's not. It's absolutely getting worse. And like I said before, is when you have somebody who is working, man or woman, and they're working 40 hours a week, they're coming home, they're paying their bills. There's no reason for them not to be able to achieve the American dream. Everybody should be able to buy a place to live, man. Even back in the days when, like through the Great Depression and right afterwards, people had places to lay their head. They might have went hungry, but they had a place. And now they've capitalized. They've made it where you can't even fucking afford to rent a place. And it's crazy. They went too far, is what they've done.
Absolutely.
I
And
hate.
then you
I'm
take the
sorry.
jobs. There's no jobs. You got all these young kids coming out of colleges, coming out of high school. They can't get a job.
Yeah.
Of course, they're going to get sucked up into drugs. They're depressed. They're going to get on drugs because they got all this energy. They want to conquer the world, but they can't get a job.
They
Then,
got all this debt looming over their head.
yeah, they get sucked in the hole of drugs, and next thing you know, they're dead. You know.
Mhm. Well, a lot of that's the big pharmacies too, and he's going after them. And see, and just like what we were saying before we went live, all this hate that's going on with these with the press and everything else, these young kids are buying into it. They don't even know why they're mad.
No,
Half of them cannot even tell you why the fuck they're mad.
they can't.
Let me go back and we'll go find another one from this lady. Hey, I appreciate y'all hanging out with us, right? And I know Unc's not a political person. I'm really not. I'm the worst one that could ever do this. But I feel like people need to see that what was going on with Trump, because a lot of us don't even know what's going on overseas and what kind of damn shit that we're into, you know? Oh hell, I don't know. There it is. Let me see here.
I was laid up sick. That's how I come across it. I was just laid up sick, laying in bed, going through stuff, and I couldn't
Well,
figure out why all
I'm
that was
glad you
going
found it.
on. And I
I'm
found
glad
her.
you found it.
Yesterday, Donald Trump revealed his secret weapon
Now
for the midterm.
this here was 6 days ago, so she may go to talking about Venezuela, I think, maybe. In one of these she talks about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Info Warriors, I'm definitely gonna watch him at the WEF.
elections, and it takes dead aim at a key pillar of the global financial empire. He told House Republicans how to own the Democrats in the upcoming life and death 2026 elections by attacking the insurance cartels. Here's what he said.
Let the money go not to the big fat cats and the insurance companies that made 1,700% over the last short period of time. Let the money go directly to the people where they can buy their own health care. And I'm not sure that I've ever said anything that was more impactful. You know, I say a lot of things and have a lot of good ideas. And this was an idea that, I mean, the whole world went crazy. The whole country went crazy. The world went crazy with envy.
Trump told the gathered Republicans what everybody knows, that the party in power usually gets slaughtered in the midterms. But that's because, until Trump, both parties were wings of the same uniparty, simply taking turns managing the destruction of the U.S. economy on behalf of the London and Wall Street banks. But Trump doesn't play by their game. By targeting the obscene levels of financial looting carried out by the HMOs and the insurance companies, he's targeting the real enemy. Now, most MAGA supporters think it's a form of socialism. It's not. A form of fascist economics. And it comes from the same kind of economic thinking that gave us Nazi Germany, courtesy of the British. So here's the key to 2026. Throw out the left versus right playbook. That's the enemy's terrain. The real fight is sovereign nations defending their people and productive economies against a fascist imperial elite. I'm Susan Kokinda, and since the end of the Bretton Woods system in 1971, I've tracked how the London-centered financial parasite has multiplied in size over and over by sucking the life out of economies and populations. And until now, no one has come close to challenging it. So if you want to be part of this fight, please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons so we can reach more people. Today, we're going to unpack Trump's strategy. First, we're going to look at what he told House Republicans to do. Second, we're going to show you the fascist origins of Obamacare and where the British fit into that picture. And third, for bonus points, we're going to look at the explicit reemergence of fascism in Ukraine and in Europe. So let's start by looking at the battlefield. Trump was blunt with those House Republicans. 2026 isn't about holding seats. It's literally about survival.
You got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached. We don't impeach them. You know why? Because they're meaner than we are. We should have impeached Joe Biden for 100 different things.
But that's what will happen if you follow the uniparty script. Trump has the weapon to outflank that. He didn't propose the standard Republican solutions of tax cuts or, even worse, cuts in benefits. He's obviously not on board with Democrats' perpetual subsidies. Instead, he proposed a direct strike on the financial model of the Democratic Party's biggest donors.
But if you can come up with health care where the money goes to the people, you have just owned, they can't fight it. They're owned by the insurance companies. You guys don't get money from the insurance companies. They do. They get a massive amount of money. It's their biggest donor. They're going to try and fight you, but they can't win the fight. If you explain it, the money goes directly to the people. That's going to be your issue. There are numerous things you can do, but you have to let no money for the insurance companies.
Let no money go to the insurance companies. That is the revolutionary concept. Now look at this chart. The rising line isn't paying for better care. Life expectancy actually dropped during this period. This line represents wealth extraction. The insurance cartels, which are really the crown jewel of fascist economics, have been looting American households to fund the very political machine that's been destroying our country. Now, it probably won't surprise you to know that the insurance companies are totally intertwined with Wall Street and London banks, and that Barclays Bank, one of the oldest banks in London, is all tied up with United Healthcare, the largest HMO in the world. This is what Trump is taking aim at. Cut out the parasite, send the money directly to the people, and the enemy's going to be crippled. And Trump understands that you don't win 2026 by defending the status quo. He's telling the GOP, be the party that kills the parasite. Now, Trump's strategy is brilliant, but here's what's behind it and what most people don't understand. The insurance industry isn't just greedy. It's deliberately fascist. And running around calling this socialism.
How many times have we seen people that's needed operations and surgeries and the insurance company refused to do it? And I mean people that are on their deathbed. Look at this kid that just went and did that in wherever. I think it was in New York because of the insurance company turning down a life-saving operation for somebody in his family.
His grandmother, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, but that's what's going on. They don't give a shit about us. All they care about is what they can get from us.
As if it's a program which is somehow helping a bunch of poor people isn't going to get you anywhere. Because the only purpose of this system is to feed the financier elite And the architects of Obamacare said so. I'm going to take you back to 2009 and show you that some of us back then knew where this was headed. But before I get into the details, I want to urge you to go to the Promethean Action website and sign up for our free newsletter. I think by now you're getting the idea that we've been out front on this issue
What up, guy?
longer than a lot of people have been politically active. So
She's
use
been
the link
seeing
and
this since I was
free
born.
newsletter.
She's at 71, so she
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah, she's granny, and she's
Yeah,
got
she's
that innocent face, so you automatically tune into what she's saying. She's had to be a teacher or something in some part of her life. I would suggest, if I had to guess.
Yeah,
Letter.
she's definitely been behind the scenes of all this since 71 and studying all this. So
Mhm.
Now, this is a 2009 pamphlet published by the precursor of Promethean Action, which spills the beans. It documents key players in the creation of Obamacare, like Ezekiel Emanuel. Yes, he's the brother of the former Democratic mayor of Chicago. Emanuel and others saw so-called healthcare reform as an income stream for the financial parasite. Remember, this is all playing out during the 2008-2009 financial collapse. Here's what Emanuel said in the Huffington Post. The huge increase in the federal debt that these bailouts will entail intensifies the pressure to rein in healthcare costs. There you have it. Bail out the banks, cut healthcare.
We're Phoenix Energy, a family-owned oil company focused on unleashing American oil from North Dakota.
So when Donald Trump says, let the money go not to the big fat cats and the insurance companies that made 1,700%, let the money go directly to the people, he's not just talking about moving money from some very rich pockets to yours. He's taking on a very evil system. And here's just how evil it is. In that same Huffington Post article, Emanuel described how Americans were panicking over the loss of their income and savings during the financial blowout. And that would
What happened to people being able to retire from their jobs without a 401k? What happened to people that's worked for big companies and corporations and stuff that worked there 20 years and then being able to retire from that incorporation? 401k is what happened. And I'm telling you that this has got a lot to do with it. This has got a lot to do with it. That was part of their plan, was to get your fucking retirement. So you work your whole life and then you get to the age you can't work no more. And then they just give you just enough crumbs. And then when you get sick, it's, fuck you.
convince
Right.
them to accept a more
Pisses me off,
rationed
dude.
form of healthcare. How should it be rationed? Well, in January 2009, just
And it makes me sick to listen to these young kids bash Trump. They don't even know what the fuck they're bashing him for. They don't realize that they're going to get old and there's nobody going to be there to take care of them because these motherfuckers have done pickpocketed all of us.
just as Obama was taking office, Emanuel published his blueprint to a
Yeah, exactly.
complete
wasn't
lives
supposed-
system.
From what I understand, Social Security wasn't supposed to be there for very long anyway. It was only designed to help through some troubling time or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Arguing that
Or no,
health
they wasn't supposed to be able to borrow against it, but for so long, and then they've ended up just kind of taking it.
yeah,
should be allocated
uh,
based
Hmm? Yeah, I remember seeing that one. I think it was a senator said if people knew that their Social Security was broken, why they'd riot.
on your value to society and how much society has invested in you and will still get out of you. Just in case this monetization of human life isn't clear, look at a paper he
Yeah, it was
authored earlier
Yeah,
in
the federal
1998
income was
entitled,
tax was
What Are the
supposed to-
Potential Cost
That's right, Info Warriors.
Savings?
I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. Yeah, the federal income tax was supposed to have been a temporary thing. But I remember seeing that one representative saying, hey, if these people knew what we had done with their Social Security, they'd riot.
From legalizing physician-assisted suicide. And of course, that now has been legalized in places like Netherlands and in Canada. In Canada, 5% of the deaths in 2024, 16,000 plus people, came from assisted suicide.
16,000 people.
If this quantification of the value of a human life,
Do what, Bo?
That's insane.
It
16,000
is.
people just slaughtered.
Yeah, because they would rather do that than to pay the medical cost on them.
Right.
Allegedly. Let me say allegedly because somebody have fucking complained. Oh, that's against terms of service.
is beginning to remind you of the Nazi policy of designating certain lives as not worth living, it should. And it comes from the same place that it's coming from today. The very same British and Wall Street institutions that are profiting off of this policy are the same institutions that put Hitler's finance minister, Hjalmar Schacht, into power. Schacht was deeply embedded in London and Wall Street circles. He was so close to Montague Norman, the head of the Bank of England, that he made Norman the godfather of one of his grandchildren. Schacht was installed in Germany to oversee the looting of the German economy on behalf of the Anglo-American elites. And then those policies metastasized into Hitler's economics.
Oh, I know.
Those same principles are still in play. Loot the population to sustain a bankrupt financial system, or in the case of Hitler's Germany, a war machine. Those are the same principles that the health insurance cartels use. Suck out exorbitant.
Roland, they say that that's what killed like all the industrial stuff here. And that's what Pop said too. Pop said that's the worst thing that they ever done was that NAFTA free trade agreement.
Amounts of money and reduce your life expectancy in the process. So here's the bonus point. If you think this British Nazi connection is ancient history, I've got some news for you. The same people, the same families, and the same looting operation are running the show right now in Ukraine and in Europe. We've already seen assisted suicide spreading across Europe, and the political suppression of free speech is becoming routine. But if you want to see the mask come off completely, look at Ukraine. Meet Chrystia Freeland, granddaughter of Ukrainian Nazi collaborator. She just moved from Canada, where she was Trudeau's deputy prime minister and Mark Carney's special representative to Ukraine, assigned to keep the war going. She's now Zelensky's special economic advisor.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. You just need a concept and a way to record.
Don't want that war to end.
And what's her job?
They want it to keep going.
No, a lot of people don't, man.
They want that money from the all the military contracts.
InfoWarriors knows what's going on.
Continue the war going, loot Ukrainian assets, pay the banks. Same playbook her grandfather would recognize. And then there's Blaise Metrowell, the new head of MI6. Her grandfather, a Nazi collaborator. Her current job, running British intelligence operations to keep the war going in Ukraine. And there's this. On New Year's Day, Ukrainians marched through the streets celebrating Stefan Bandera, a Nazi butcher responsible for mass murder. So the enemy isn't even hiding anymore. Let me connect the dots, because this is where it all comes together. Why does the Uniparty love both the Ukraine war and the insurance cartels? Because it's the same business model, wealth extraction. In Ukraine, they extract your tax dollars, funnel them to defense contractors, and seize Russian assets to prop up a bankrupt European financial system. In US healthcare, they extract your premiums and funnel them to insurance financiers in Wall Street and London. Different victims, same looting operation, same British imperial system. That's why what Trump laid out for a midterm strategy isn't just about healthcare. It's about whether we're going to let this British system continue looting us to destruction, or whether we're going to follow President Trump's lead and burn the whole parasitic structure down. So let's bring it full circle. Trump just gave Republicans the roadmap to victory in 2026. Steal the healthcare issue by attacking the insurance cartels directly. And here's what it means. This isn't about free market versus socialism. It's about sovereign nations versus fascist financial looting. And the enemy isn't just domestic. It's the British system that's been running this operation since before World War II. The old GOP would defend the insurance companies and mumble about market solutions and budget cuts and lose. We are ready to call it what it is, financial fascism. And that's what sets Promethean Action apart. We identify the real enemy and we give you the tools to defeat it. So if you want to be part of this fight, I encourage you to join us, become a paying member, make a contribution, and use all of our resources. Because as President Trump said, victory in the midterms isn't optional. So if Republicans and you follow this roadmap in 2026, if we attack the parasites sucking the life out of American families, then we won't just win the midterms. We'll give President Trump the power to break the back of an empire that's been looting us for 80 years. This has been your midweek update. Thanks for watching.
Please take.
Now, I hope that enlightened a few people. I know it did me when I watched her, you know.
Yeah. I tell you, there's a big battle going on for resources too, man. The silver, the stuff that's going on with silver right now. They're fighting for that silver. They need that silver for all the solar panels and all this AI stuff they're trying to come out with, and that's got a lot to do with it.
I'm afraid it's going to get rougher before it gets better, but I just hope people keep in mind that the man really does have our best interest at heart. You know, and I wish some of these younger kids, man, would actually study what's going on instead of getting on YouTube and just trying to rage bait people and trying to get them to talk about shit so they can get paid off YouTube. Because all they're doing is just spreading misinformation and hate. And it's sad, really, because like
more and more hot, man. People's getting more and more mad, and it's going to cause a bunch of more fighting, and then, a good plan is going to go to hell because there's going to be fighting everywhere.
Well, listen, so really the bottom line is not only are they going to pay for it, their kids are going to pay for it, and their kids are going to pay for it. And it's just, man, it's not a good plan. It's really not a good plan. Silver is up like $80 per ounce. I bought it for like $20 an ounce 2 years ago. Yeah. Hey, Info Warriors, when silver got to $40 an ounce, I sold all my silver because I honestly did not think it would go back up that high ever in my lifetime. Because where the hell could I get $40 for a fucking 50-cent piece or a silver dollar? I mean, I was like, shit, it's out of here. That's $39 profit.
Hey, you got a profit. I still think it's going to go up because, I mean, China, they closed the doors as of January, I think 1st or 2nd. They're not shipping silver only to a few people. So everybody's fighting for silver right now throughout the whole year.
So I'm going to put a few people on game. Okay. We have what they call the Florida Boys Ranch here. And you may have places like that around where you live. That is a good place to go look for silverware. Sometimes you can come up, sometimes they don't have it, but like I've always went into those places where they donate stuff and looked around. Hell, I bought a set of aluminum rims one time for fucking $5 a piece, and I took them straight from there straight to the scrapyard and got $15 a piece for them, which that wasn't a big profit, but I still made $40 or whatever it was, and I was going by the scrapyard on my way home anyway. It's just things like that anything that I can look at that I can make money off of, I do. That's why I keep all the scrap metal. I got junk cars. I look like Fred Sanford. I swear I do.
All my copper pennies out of my change right now. I got a bucket where all my copper pennies are going. I'm not spending the copper pennies.
Yeah. I literally got several scrap cars out here. I know how to cut off catalytic converters and aluminum rims, all that shit. All of that. I keep all that laying around.
Money's money.
Yeah, well, man, desperate times call for desperate measures. I don't give a shit what nobody thinks. When it comes time to eat, Unc's gonna eat. One thing I can tell you, my deep freezers are full, my refrigerator's full, my pantries are full, and that makes it easy on me, you know what I mean?
Heck yeah.
$4,300 a troy ounce. That's crazy. I wonder what platinum's going for right now. What
It's
year?
too. Hell,
I
that's
don't.
more expensive as gold. Platinum is.
Hey, Copper Top. Allie asked, "What year did copper pennies stop?"
It's anything
Dude, not
below 82. 82 and below is all copper.
82 and below.
There's if you find an 83 that's a copper, but you got to weigh it, it's worth a lot of money because only half the year of 83 was copper, and then they went to zinc. And I guess them are collectibles.
Right. They did that, and I want to say 64 too. It was either 64 or 63 where they made the steel penny. And
no, it was a war penny. It's the 44.
44. Yeah, that's what it was.
44. Yeah, and if you find a 44 copper, it's worth. It's the most expensive penny out there. I forget. It's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars if you find it. It's the most sought after penny in the world. Because only a few of them got out. But it's a 44. I got a 44 still. But if you get a 44 copper, you've made bank.
Hey, so, and you know, Rusty said something to me the other day about it was a distraction from what was going on with some things. And I thought about that lady getting taken out up there in Minnesota. And I was like, he's right, which he wasn't talking about that, but it's the same concept. It's a distraction from what's really going on, just to piss more people off about Trump because the Democrats can use it as ammunition. But here's the thing. Should she be alive right now? Yeah. But people that has incited those people should be arrested, man. They don't care about your life. They don't care. It's not them. They're going home at the end of the night. And here's the sad part. They're going home at the end of the night on your dime. While you fight for a living, they're out just living these luxurious lives, man. And it's crazy. I never have understood that.
No, they'll fire up they'll fire up all these riots and stuff just to get the pressure off them.
Yeah, well, people are paying to have all that shit done, and it's like, yeah, I get that, Allie. I do, I really do, because when the police officer tells you to stop, regardless, if you're being violated, your rights are being violated or not, you stop. But you still don't want to see nobody unalived. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It's crazy, Info Warriors. It really is. And that's to the point what I'm talking about. These damn, I hate even to call them that because they don't represent nobody but themselves. But they ought to be charged with inciting it. Because let me tell you, they damn sure tried to charge Trump for inciting January 6th, didn't they? And have you ever noticed how the shoe don't fit on both feet? It's only on one side that shoe fit, and it's sad. People are too delusional, and people are so pissed off already that they don't see it. It's easy to shake them up and put them out there, man, and they just falling for it. It's crazy. They're being used as puppets. They're pulling their strings like puppets, and they don't even realize it.
Right.
What's up, Great White Wolf? How you doing? Damn. I hope y'all got as much out of that as I did. You got anything to add, Copper Top?
No, I would just say, man, I'm telling you, everybody look into this stuff because one way or another, this stuff is playing out, and it's gonna affect our lives.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And here's the thing: if you can just reach one person that's around you that may feel differently than you do, then you've had a success.
Yeah,
that's the way that you have to look at it. Because, like, let's be honest, we're a very small community, and there's not a lot that we really can do. But I will say, if you can just change one person's mind or just enlighten them a little bit about what's going on and how they've been ripped off, it would be a game changer.
Yeah, because you can see more. Because it gets confusing when you're just like, well, this don't make sense. This don't make sense. This don't make sense. And then you get a little bit of something to shine a light on it. I love it when it happens, because
Oh yeah, most definitely.
there's plenty of confusion out there.
Hey, Roland, he's gonna be mad anyway. Me and Copper Top was talking about that earlier. I said I wasn't gonna say that dude's name because that's what he wants. And to be quite honest with you, man, there's no helping that dude. That dude is just lost.
Yeah.
He's got his own problems, and like I tried to get him to watch that video with Granny. He's like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah." I was like, whatever, dude, just shut the fuck up. I'm gonna tell you, no wonder your wife tells you to shut the fuck up.
All right.
Poor old bastard. All right, y'all. Well, me and Copper Top fixing to get out of here. I just wanted to bring those videos to you. I hope that y'all learned something, because I did. I'm not even going front. I learned something that I didn't know. And it's always a good time when you learn something. Miss Diamond, if you're still in here, thank you for all the stuff that you send me. I appreciate it. Hey, and if any of y'all see anything that you think that I might like, oh no, I didn't, InfoWars. I didn't. He said, did you hear Congress is issuing arrest warrants for the Clintons? They should have been gone. But listen, if y'all run across any kind of information like that, want to share it with me, it's Uncle Will 19 over on Instagram. I appreciate it. And y'all have a wonderful night. Copper Top, hang out for a minute.
Okay, bye.